California Adventure is Disneyland's second gate park, and with it being home to many world-class attractions, it is easy to know why it is so popular. However, today, by using the categories thrill, queue-line, theming and fun, we're going to review and rank every ride at the park. Get ready for takeoff, as for our first ride on the list, we have Goofy's Sky School, where if you think you have what it takes to fly, you can jump aboard your very own plane for an adventure like no other. Based off the 1940s Disney cartoon Goofy's Glider, as soon as you have queued up in what I must say is not one of the greatest queues, and then boarded the plane itself, with help from Goofy of course, you will fly around many wild mouse twists and turns, drops, airtime hills and so much beloved wild mouse brake runs. So what are you waiting for? Join Goofy Sky School today, which we are going to be scoring 19. Are you heading to Disney's California Adventure on a hot Californian day? Well, if so, then you've got to take a ride on Grizzly River Run, as this totally awesome attraction will definitely cool you down. Situated within the highly themed Grizzly Peak, from the moment you walk into this land and see all those stunning trees, rockwork and buildings, you will instantly feel as if you are in a national park. And this only continues on the ride itself, with your rapid boat heading through many rapid waters, humongous drops and so much more, causing you not only to get very wet, but also give it a combined score of 33. If you are scared of heights, then skip to the next spot, as we have Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and despite many people preferring the retro Tower of Terror, for me nothing can beat the fun, excitement and thrills of this drop tower. Standing at a height of 56 meters tall, already I know that some of you are like, no way Jose, but it does not stop there, because once you get into that awesome queue line, complete the pre-show and then board the ride, not only will you rise to the top and drop, but also bounce to the tunes whilst one of the 6 different storylines are playing. How cool is that? And so we're going to drop this ride a score of 38. Next up on our every ride list, things are starting to become a little bit incredible, as we have the one and only Incredicoaster. And where do I begin when talking about this ride? As if I was going to talk about every great part, from the theming to the ride to even the audio, we would quite literally be here all day. But to start from the beginning, as soon as your lap bars have been lowered, you will begin by joining Dash for a 0 to 55 miles per hour launch, followed by Elastigirl, Violet, and of course Mr. Incredible himself around the totally incredible roller coaster layout. Therefore, with all of this and so much more, there is no doubt in my mind that this ride deserves a score of 27. Are you feeling happy, sad, scared, disgusted or angry? Well, no matter what you are feeling, you should definitely take a ride on Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, as after riding you will definitely feel the joys. Themed towards, believe it or not, Inside Out, this hot air balloon style ride will allow you and up to 3 others to jump aboard one of the many balloons, all of which are themed towards different characters, to then take off into the sky and also tilt, creating a really fun experience for both adults as well as kids alike. And so we're going to give this rather happy ride a score of 16. Yeehaw adventurers, and welcome to the wildest ride at the park, Jessie's Critter Carousel, which, as you can probably guess by the name, is the park's Carousel ride. And therefore, before we do begin to talk about the ride itself, with this type of attraction being very common around the world, if you are heading to the park on a busy day, then we would suggest trying the more unique rides first. Nevertheless, if you do get a chance to ride, you will definitely not be disappointed, with you getting to climb aboard one of the many creatively designed critters to then bounce up and down whilst also rotating around in circles. And so we're going to give this ride a score of 14. If Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is a little too intense for you, then do not fear, as we now have Jumpin Jellyfish, and even though it is a little bit fishy, it is a perfect ride for both adults and kids alike. Similar to such attractions as Toy Story Parachute Drop, the 12 jellyfishes that you will sit on will lift, drop, and believe it or not, jump through the air. Isn't that awesome? But if you want to have an even better experience, we would recommend facing Pixar Pier, as those views that you can get from up there cannot be matched. And therefore, when taking into account all of this, as well as the underwater themed queue line, we are going to score it 17. It is time for our first ride in Radiator Springs, as next up on our list we have Luigi's Rockin' Roadsters. And where do I begin when talking about this ride, as you will quite literally go on a dancing car. Nevertheless, I've got to begin by starting to talk about the theming, as everything from the land to the unbelievable queue line with many references to the film, and even the cars themselves, will make both car fans and non-car fans alike want to go straight ahead and ride. And by no means does that disappoint either, with despite there being not a lot of thrills, the fun and excitement of the car synchronised dancing and commentary throughout will definitely make it one of the best rides at the park. And so we're going to be scoring it 23. Who here has seen a scene from Cars where Mater scares the tractor cows? Well, of course you have, but do you know that California Adventure has turned it into a ride called Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, and you are connected to the cows. Yet what makes this ride so great, of course apart from the amazing theming and commentary from Mater himself, is how fun this thing is, as no matter how old you are or your thrill level, jumping onto one of these iconic characters, spinning in a figure of 8 formation and singing along with Mater creates an experience that will never be forgotten. And so we're going to be giving it a final score of 22. A child is on the loose in the city of Montropolis, and it is up to you, with help of course from Mike and Sulley, to get her back safely home on Monsters Inc. Mike and Sulley to the rescue. Themed towards one of my personal favourite Disney films, once you have boarded the taxi after the OK queue line, you will be taken around the city. However, this is not all easy touring, because as I mentioned earlier, a child is on the loose, and you will head around many famous scenes from the film in the aim to return her home. How cool is that? And a quick tip from us: if you are in a group of 2 or less, ask for a buddy pass, as you may be able to skip the line on the ride, which we are going to be scoring 22. You can't have a theme park without a Ferris wheel, and California's Adventure is no exception, as we now have Pixar Pal-A-Round. The only thing is though, this is not your normal carousel, as even though you can get some of your typical gondolas which just go round and round the awesome Mickey face, if you're looking for one of the biggest thrills of your life, then look no further, as at the entrance choose a swinging option, as words literally cannot describe how scary it is going to be rolling and swinging down a track on a Ferris wheel. And so when taking into account all of this, as well as the plain queue line, we're going to give Pixar Pal-A-Round a score of 24. For our final and personal favourite ride in Radiator Springs, we have Radiator Racers. And wow, is this ride amazing or what? Situated amongst all of the mountains, canyons, bridges and waterfalls of Radiator Springs, just looking at this ride is stunning. And this only continues when your car sets off on its adventure along Route 66, with your car not only taking you around all of this, but so much more, including an awesome inside section where you will encounter many beloved characters, all before the final race at the end to see who is the Radiator Springs champion. Therefore, I have got to give this must-do ride a total score of 37. Have you ever wanted to fly through the air on a giant swing? Well, if so, then you must take a ride on Silly Sympathy Swings, the park swing attraction. And even though it is identical to many others from all around the world, this ride has got a few little things that brings it to the next level. Now for starters, I have got to talk about the positioning for this ride, as with it being positioned up high on a platform opposite Pixar Pier, the views are incredible. However, for me, what makes this ride a must-do, and no, it is not the non-existent queue line, but the onboard sympathies, making the ride both unique and rather funny at times. So for those reasons, I'm going to give it a score of 13. Get yourself ready to soar around the world, as for our next ride on our list, we have Soaring Around the World. And for anyone who has not done one of these flying theatres before, then this should definitely be on your bucket list. And if you have, well, you would definitely be on your bucket list anyway, as with you being able to travel the world from a moving seat in a warehouse building is plain down amazing. Nevertheless, what I particularly love about this ride is the fact that not only can you see these iconic destinations, but through the use of many special effects, you really feel as if you are there, and therefore I'm going to be giving this ride a score of 21. It is time to go under the sea, as we now have the Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure, and themed of course to the film The Little Mermaid, similar to such attractions as Monsters Inc. Mike and Sulley to the Rescue. You will be able to board your very own seashell and follow the iconic storylines, seeing many of the friendly and not so friendly characters, as well as maybe even having a sing-along too. So what are you waiting for? If this ride has a queue of less than 15 minutes, we could not recommend it anymore, and therefore we're going to give this rather fishy attraction a score of 16. Are you feeling a little bit competitive? Well, if so, do not fear, as we now have Toy Story Midway Mania. And wow, does this ride really bring out the competitive side. Located upon Pixar Pier and next to the famous Talking Potato Head, you will begin your adventure by receiving some 3D glasses and then boarding the ride itself. Then from here on out, you will be able to move and spin around many screens and theming pieces, making you feel as if you are a toy. However, here is where it gets awesome, as by pulling the cord in front of you, you can play the games, gain points, and see who will become the champion on the ride, which we're gonna score 19. After ranking and reviewing over 17 of California Adventure's rides, we have made it to our final attraction, Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. And ever since its debut in 2021, this has always been a fan favourite, and for good reason, as after you make it through the amazing Avengers Campus, you will then queue up in what I must say is one of the best queue lines on Disney property, with its highly themed queue show, and then board the ride itself. Similar to Toy Story Mania, then on, you will head around many high-tech 3D screens and save the day, as well as gaining some points by shooting your arms like Spider-Man. And therefore, with all of this and so much more, we're going to give it a score of 26. There you go, we have just ranked and reviewed every ride at California's Adventure. And if you have enjoyed, please consider commenting, liking and subscribing. And if you want to see every single number per category, we have got it all down in the description below. Nevertheless, with all that said, there is only one thing left for me to say. My name is Tom Derrick from Theme Park Coasting, and I will see you for our next video. Goodbye.